You're listening to America's Diesel Podcast.
I still love those videos of the people fishing. Right here in South Carolina, we respect our wildlife. Just see backflip throws the fish.
What was that clam chutney video?
Clam chutney?
Yeah, it was from like a couple weeks ago.
I don't remember that one.
He sent it to you. I only know because it's on the intro of the podcast I'm listening to now, or editing right now. It's the one with Jesse.
Clam chutney?
Yeah, he was like, we're going to soak our feet in some clam chutney. And
I have no idea.
he should have sent it to you. He was excited because he knew how to do that.
Like Jesse sent it to me?
No, Tyler did.
Tyler sent it to me.
What? I
Oh
did
my
what?
God.
So it should be easy to find.
It should be easy to find because he only sends me a thing like once a month. I just gotta find him on here, Tyler. Let's see here. Tyler Lucas.
One time I walked into a Bigfoot gangbang. It reminded me of the grass dance.
It's not this one, but it's good. Hang on. Just so you know.
Are we live?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've been hot for...
Yeah. I'm not sure when this actually started, but this is... So Tyler basically never sends me anything. Anything, right? I send him probably like 30 things a day.
Yeah.
Which that's our relationship. It's fine. He's the guy that doesn't respond. I'm the guy that always sends them. There are people that always send to me and I never respond.
Just know I appreciate it.
Yeah. Same thing. I appreciate it. But he sent me this one and it was one of those things where like I was literally working on my truck and like doing stuff.
I think I was drunk when I sent that to you because I was I don't remember what it was about.
And then you sent it to me. I was like, oh my God, Tyler sent me something. Like, Everybody stop. Everybody stop. Tyler actually sent me something. And this is what it is. I know you guys can't see it, but I'm going to play it for you. Okay?
One time I walked into a Bigfoot gangbang. It reminded me of the grass dancers at powwows, except these Bigfoots were dicking each other. They seen me. They looked like tripods standing there. Staring at me looked like he might have been Chief. His hard-on was pointed right at me. I instinctively covered my shame cave. I went to my knees and I started beating it. Started whacking him and then I pulled a fast one and twisted his wee knuck. One time I walked into a...
You're welcome, I guess. I don't know.
I'll keep scrolling to see if I can find this chutney thing. Tyler, handle the intro.
Oh, intro, baby. Welcome to the podcast. If you're a new listener,
This is already going great.
if you're a new listener,
Is it this one?
sorry?
Slip me an oxy, aren't you looking foxy?
Just keeps going.
I'm gonna have to use that one. Quite exquisite. Yeah, looking real good.
That is the chutney guy. He's like, yeah, it was, remember when we did this and then they had the...
Yeah.
I'm going to go make some like...
He'll have like a can of something. It's like, you want to try a taste of ball sweat?
It's like macaroni chutney. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, that was the drink, was the chutney thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I
didn't
don't
see
fucking
it,
know.
but-
I sent you a couple of those ones. But anyways, thank you for tuning in to America's Diesel
Play with
Podcast.
my pouch. Feel like I just ran a mile to catch up with you. How the hell are you?
This one,
Good.
yes.
Shit, you're fast. It's bread. Bread. Yeah, you had the fuzziest little peaches. FLPs, as Kenneth would say. Remember this? Used to slap them down on the table, and then a blindfolded Sean, Corey, and Topanga would take turns having a stroke. Really?
Really?
Breaking my heart, buddy. What about some fermented yule splooge, huh? You want a taste? It's good stuff.
Good stuff. It's just the most awkward to drink.
Snacking on my tortoise like you wanted me, calling me all the time. Like, Blondie, check out my Chrissy behind, it's fine all of the time. Like snacks on the beaches, what else is in the peaches and peaches? Dolphin Dive High Five?
You're looking me out. I have no idea who you are.
Well, time changes people, you know. I don't look the same. I've sprouted, as they say.
Where are you from?
The couch. The couches.
The couch is.
A couch guy.
You come here a lot, though, right?
I come to Walmart a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, me, Kenneth, and the boys, we rent out the parking lot. Every Sunday at 7 p.m., we play Hemorrhoid Hunters.
No fucking idea what you're talking about. Sounds like some key shit, though.
No, it's totally straight.
I had no idea.
You can come and observe if you'd like.
No.
Sunday at 7. You sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
All right, well, hey, before you get going, I did whip up some homemade clam chutney. Maybe we could soak our feet in it later.
You're fucking.
All right, bye-bye. I'm going to skedaddle. I'll lay on my cat.
That shit's funny.
That guy is
Some clam chutney. You want to soak our feet in it?
Anyway, thanks for tuning in to America's Diesel Podcast. This is Ben and Tyler.
And Corey.
And Corey.
Yeah,
Sorry.
whatever.
God damn it. I'm sorry. I don't do this.
I know. I forgive you.
I was going to say
You can
something.
do it.
I was going to say something, but I still hold back. Anyways, this week's podcast episode is brought to you by Fuel Bomb Diesel Additive, an additive designed for diesel enthusiasts, made by diesel enthusiasts. Ben, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. So this is our in-house Fuel Bomb fuel additive for your diesel truck. Our biggest thing here is making sure that you can pretty much always have diesel additive on you all the time. You've got a lot of other additives out on the market that they have, anti-gel in there all the time. They have cetane in there all the time. They end up being big and bulky bottles. Our standard everyday diesel fuel additive is 1 ounce per 32 gallons, and that's its main job is to make sure that your fuel system stays lubricated and prevents the formation of algae. And it should also help you in colder climates too.
Should definitely help you in colder climates. Along with cleaning your fuel system and maintaining it, it'll also help you bump that cetane number up for a more efficient burn of your diesel fuel. And if cetane is just what you're after, there's the Fuel Bomb Hellfire, which is our straight 8+ cetane enhancer.
Yeah, and you guys asked, and we brought them back. We did go away from the bottles that didn't have the measuring little parts in there. We brought them back for you, so now you can measure out your 1 ounce per 32 gallons for the F-Bomb or 4 ounces per 32 gallons for the Hellfire.
Both these additives are available on our website, dieselpowerproducts.com. Now let's get back to that episode. Thanks for tuning in. Reviews, we love them. If you order something, put podcast in the notes, and we'll give you, Ben will give you a hand job. I don't know.
If you got clam chutney.
If you got clam chutney, we're both soaking our feet in that.
Yeah. You can come and observe if you like.
Yeah.
Sundays at 7.
We could fire up a Yule log.
He's like that. It's got that like nasal.
Yeah. But just like for some, I have to give it to people that can hold their shit when doing shit like that, because I would have a hard time like not laughing like real at myself like for the whole encounter. Like that dude like plays it cool like the whole entire time. He says the weirdest shit.
I would have if I got encountered with that and I could tell that, I don't want to sound like super fucking operator here, but I could tell he wasn't an actual threat, like someone's just purely fucking with me.
Yeah.
I would have a really hard time, I don't know, about like 3 or 4 interactions back and forth without trying to give it back to him.
Oh, I would totally.
I'd be like, the couches. The couches with Miranda.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
man.
Topanga.
I didn't think you would walk right ever after that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Just feed him. Yeah.
Glad to see they put the eyeball back in.
Yeah.
That was a splooge-tastic night, my friend.
Yeah. Glad to see you're walking straight.
Yeah. Glad to see you're walking straight because you sure ain't acting it, man. Like,
you had a gate that would. Anyways,
you still offering them for 25, or you raised your rates with inflation?
Yeah. How much is sales tax?
Yeah. You 1099 or
yeah. Is this a write-off?
Yeah. You got an app?
Yeah. Anyways,
anywho, you know the intro, and you know for a fact this is the second podcast we filmed today because the intros always go downhill on the second one we film of the day.
Ba-da, ba-da, bop. Bop.
What the fuck is happening?
You okay, man?
No.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm not.
Well, good.
What are we talking about today?
Yeah. We're talking about Seth in his truck.
Fucking Seth.
Fucking Seth. Did the email work for you?
No.
Okay. Well, Seth, we've actually talked about his truck before. He's one of 2 Asians that drive Cummins trucks. Probably more, but 2 documented that we know of down in California. Yeah.
See what I just did?
He just
You
bowed.
did.
Yeah. What do they say? Like mushi mushi or something as they bow, or definitely not hard car because that's you're dying at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. California roll. Shit. I don't know. I'm not even sure what kind of Asian he is. He wears flip flops and drives a Cummins truck. It could be anything.
Could be anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah.
Anyhow. He recently picked up, I believe it's an 0659 crew cab long bed.
My man.
He is a flip-flop wearer, which he must be down in Southern California.
Oh, yeah.
And it is time for him to start doing some front-end work on this truck. The whole thing, though, is that Seth is a student. So he needs to make sure
Is this the one that was living in a trailer?
No, different one.
Okay.
It's Lane. So
Lane Tansey?
Yeah.
Lane Tansey actually asked today if I was in my office eating glizzies to Sarah. And she said, she's like, I don't know, and I can go check. It's like, no big deal.
Just checking.
Because she messaged me and was like, do you know Lane Tansey? And I'm like, maybe. What did he say?
Is he asking about the clam chutney?
Yeah, asking about the chutney? No, he's asking about the glizzy.
Fuck, I love you guys. And so Seth needs to get some front end worked on his truck, but definitely budget minded. But he also, since he is a fan of the podcast, knows that there are, I wouldn't say right or wrong ways to do it.
Yeah.
But there are definitely, if you're on a budget, there's certain things that you just kind of need to do right the first time.
Yeah.
But there's also certain things that you can do, if you are in a budget, it's going to be better than your normal auto parts store thing.
Yeah.
And set yourself up for success in the future.
Yeah.
So, and I believe he actually got this list all put together with Corey, which is pretty rad. It's cool that he was able to call and end up talking to you, so I appreciate that.
Well, he's got my email.
Oh,
I
nice.
just told him email if he needed anything.
You're the best.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So what did you guys end up doing?
So off the top of my head, I recommended Mopar upgrade steering.
Yep.
Bilstein stabilizer.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Kryptonite ball joints.
I don't even know why I'm here right now. Corey already got it.
I mean, it's the same stuff we preach all the time anyway. Redhead steering gearbox. I know he's already got end links, if I remember right.
Steering box brace?
I forgot about that one. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, give him a Synergy steering box brace.
Yeah.
Best bang for the buck.
Yeah. And then Mevotech or the Moog wheel bearings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, as far as budget wise, I mean that's probably your best setup. Regardless of what you're doing, steering box brace is definitely needed.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting that's like a perfect time. If you're getting a new steering box, that's a perfect time to get a brace.
Yeah.
Get that shit on there at the same time you're installing a new box
And a Pitman arm.
and a Pitman arm.
Well, I recommended getting the Pitman arm with the steering anyway.
Yeah. So because it's a slightly updated from the previous years, but you're setting yourself up for success just with that. As far as at least just with your steering box. Now, I'm sure people will go on forums, you'll go online, you'll still see people that have issues with the T-style steering, the updated Mopar steering. Yes, there are. I'll be the first to tell you, we had issues. We were going down to an event in Oregon. It was me, I think Cooper and Brian, and we were towing the race truck, and we stayed at a hotel. We did the whole event, and then when we went to leave, one of the tie rods failed. It literally broke off, and the steering joint was on the ground. And this was a Sunday.
Shit.
So it's we're not getting a new part, right? So I think we ended up having to. I think we stayed there an extra night. But yes, there are. I mean, there's still failures, but in comparison from as far as a price point from the Mopar steering up to a Synergy steering or any of the other aftermarket steering, I mean, it is substantially cheaper. and I'm not saying that, obviously there's better ways to go, but if you're on a budget, that's still a great kit. I mean, they used essentially that kit from, mid-model year 2008 all the way up to, 2012 in some 2013 trucks. So is it some 2013? Did I say that right?
I was listening.
I'm pretty sure.
08 have steering. So from 08, mid-model year 08 to...
It's control arm truck. So if you go to
any control arm truck from 08 and up, it has that steering on it. So again, it's obviously there's better options to go with that. But if you're on a budget, that's a great kit to go with. Pair that with like Corey just said, a Bilstein steering stabilizer. That's going to be better than any factory stabilizer or anything you're going to get from an auto parts store, and they're still relatively affordable. And then the same thing with ball joints. Kryptonite makes a great product.
That's hard to beat that price point too.
Super hard to beat that price point. They're a great product. They know what they're doing as far as steering stuff. You can't go wrong with the Kryptonite stuff. Again, this is the same thing that applies, from with the ball joints to the steering. There's obviously better options to go, whether it be Dynatrack, Carly. There's those are going to be your top tier ball joints. But there's nothing wrong with the Kryptonite set. I think they even still offer their lifetime warranty on those ball joints, don't they?
Right.
Yeah. So it's basically a no questions asked lifetime warranty on those ball joints. You can't go wrong. Like I said, the only thing I would add to that list, like I was telling Corey, steering box brace, that would just dial in that front end. And then eventually, when you got a little extra money burning a hole in your pocket, maybe look at some of the other aftermarket steering options, whether it be Synergy, whether it be Kryptonite, whether it be, what's the other one? Apex. Those are obviously your far superior options, but it doesn't, if you're on a budget, live within your means. You don't have to spend $1,000 on a steering kit. Plenty of people, we still sell the shit out of those the Mopar steering upgrades. Mm-hmm. They work. Again, are there going to be failures? Sure. Keep your receipts. You can get it warranted if something does happen, but to be honest, it's kind of few and far between, really. Mm-hmm. Even with just the Mopar stuff. So, no, you're on the right track. The one thing I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't recommend to anybody, is a steering shaft, like the Borgeson steering shafts. I've gone rounds with the Borgeson steering shafts. They're a great idea. They're definitely stronger than stock, but the issue that I have with them is going to be the ends on where they connect. They use like a set screw. They just come loose. We had one on the owner's truck. I'd probably tighten that set screw probably 5 times before I tried to do something about it, as far as like making the little pilot hole a little bit bigger, putting Loctite on the little set screw. It's just most of the time the steering shaft itself doesn't wear out. They're usually fine, and even at that, I'd probably still go back to a stock one. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really even care if Borgeson, they're not probably even listening to this shit. I don't like their steering shafts. I just don't. They just, I feel like they don't work. Yeah,
well, you're not wrong. We, and I don't even know if some of the aftermarket companies even know about enough of it yet. I can tell you this much. When we were at SEMA last year, every meeting that, I was with Josh, where anybody that made any sort of like chassis component, he was like, I fucking hate the Borgeson steering shafts. Someone needs to come out with something, even if it's just the joint. Someone needs to come out with something better. Because
I believe the original joint is like it's like a one piece, but it's like that it's like a bent piece of metal that has like the bolt. Mm-hmm. Through the one side that then crimps down on the splines of the input of the steering shaft, whereas this is like it looks nice. It's a machine piece that has the splines and everything, and then there's a set screw. But that set screw, there's a lot of vibrations that happen in the front of your truck. Mm-hmm. And those set screws, they come loose, and then when that comes loose, you have that loose feel in your steering, that kind of like you're it's just sloppy.
You feel disconnected.
You just feel disconnected. And Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that part. Borgerson makes a lot of cool stuff for a lot of different rigs, but for like heavy duty trucks, I wouldn't trust it. I'd rather put a stock shaft in. Now, if you go back to like first gens, their first gen stuff is great, especially the one that reuses the rag joint, and you can buy a new rag joint for it. That's a great option. But anything other than that, like third gen stuff, I would not do it. But yeah, I mean that's going to set you up. Mopar steering, Bilstein stabilizer, some kryptonite ball joints, a steering box brace, and like you said, wheel bearings. I mean, we have options for wheel bearings too. And again, there's always going to be a higher tier of something to go into, such as like a Yukon, free spin kit, or I'm sorry, Yukon locking hubs and a Dynatrack free spin kit.
Right.
Sorry about that.
I thought about that, but it's like budget.
No, 100%. 100%. Totally. If there's nothing wrong with your wheel bearings, don't touch them.
And axle U-joints. I forgot
axle U-joints. Yeah. On a budget, you don't need, if everything's working fine, don't even touch it. Just address the issues at hand, which are mainly going to be, track bar steering box, and ball joints.
Yeah.
Synergy track bar as well.
The Synergy track bar. Yeah, and also check with track bars. I mean, those Rams, they like to kind of wallow out those holes where the bolt goes in. I've even had guys, go get like a hardened steel, not even a hardened, but just a steel washer, to essentially kind of re-round the hole at the where the track bar bolts in, and actually like weld that in, because I've seen trucks that have had that hole like wallowed out, and when that happens, to a point, like no matter how tight you get that bolt, because the bolt hole is larger than the bolt, there's a chance for it to move. And that is the single most thing that's keeping the axle centered underneath the truck. And there's a absolute shit ton of force that is pushing laterally on that joint, that can wear out shit, especially if you've already got something that's loose there. So just making sure that's nice and tight, it's not moving on you. A great way to see if it is just have someone underneath the truck, have someone inside the truck, turn it on, and just turn the wheel back and forth, because you're not moving and you are putting quite a bit of force on that track bar when you turn that wheel both ways. Because the tires are turning and the body wants to go one way and the axle wants to go the other. So if there's going to be a problem there, you're going to see a little bit of movement. You shouldn't have any movement there, zero movement. So just making sure you got a quality piece in there, make sure the bolt hole isn't walled out, make sure everything fits nice and tight, and you'll be good to go. I'll shut up now.
No, you're good. Well, and I want to touch on budget again real quick, because I do think you guys worked out a really good list, and you may be thinking to yourself like, oh, what about the whole buy once, cry once thing? Like, don't worry. Like, we still agree with that. But when it comes down to, and I think the perfect example of this would be doing Synergy steering or doing Mopar steering. Yes, we all agree the Synergy steering is a much better unit. It also, I think now it's $1,100 for the kit.
It's quite expensive
for everything.
Yeah, for that steering. Whereas and no steering stabilizer, no nothing. So you can get the Mopar steering kit with the steering stabilizer for less than $600 right now.
Right.
I want to say $541 with everything. At least that's what it was for a while. And then that frees up money for a track bar.
Yeah.
And pretty much a steering box brace. Like you've got, and so when it comes down to it, it's like, would you rather have the single, like the most bomb-proof steering ever, but then stock track bar, stock, no steering box brace, no ball joints, no nothing? Or would you rather, have good of everything and be able to do more of it?
How do you feel about the single side steering box braces? I know they're out there. I've seen them. We don't sell any of them. Mm-hmm. The argument that I've heard is tying the front frame rails together is like key. But if you actually look at the front frame rails of like a third gen, there's actually a cross member that's in front of that. So it's like putting another brace in between. I'm not saying I don't know how much when I think of a single sided steering box brace, I look at, okay, what is it trying to do? It's trying to isolate. It's trying to hold the sector shaft of the steering box steady. Is it going to, trying to hold it in one spot? Okay. When you have like a single sided brace, it's still, to me, that it still acts as like a lever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's only bolted on one side, and you could still possibly get a little deflection off of that. I don't know this for a fact. Like, I've never tested it. I've just seen them out there, and I've heard people talk about them. To me, having that box steel go across the frame rails and then having a thick, like a 3/4 inch steel tab coming off of that's isolating the sector shaft, I think is a much better way to go than having just a single side one that's bolted on one section. And, you know, because even if you bolt it on one section, it still has the ability to kind of flex like down, right? I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I don't think the single side ones are worth the money, even if like they could be like $50, $75 cheaper. But I think I would still go with like a Synergy or a BD or any of the other brands that we have out there. I mean, Sinister. I mean, there's all sorts of different brands out there now.
In my head, the way that load transfers, especially like torsionally as things move around, it does make sense for me to have something connect the two frame rails.
Yeah.
Mostly because
especially the spinning, because spinning can give you like the side to side play and kind of like a down play too, right?
Yeah. And in my mind, there really is no downside as far as the room that it's taking up. And if this truck is built to the point where like you need that room, then yes, go with the single side. I'm not saying you have to have the dual, but you know, something better than nothing, period. But as far as the room that it's taking up, inconsequential in my opinion. The cost, they're very close to the same cost. They're both around, I want to say like 150 to 225 right in there, something like that. Not super crazy, but they're close enough. And just having that, being able to locate that tab with that, like the unit bearing or the
pillow bearing.
The bearing in there to key off the sector shaft. In my opinion, it locates it much better than a single-sided brace would.
Yeah.
And again, I know there's arguments. I know Dodge Off-Road. I
think they do a single side.
They do a single side one too, and I've actually heard really good thing. Well, Dodge
anything
Off-Road,
is better than nothing.
Yes,
anything is better than nothing with that.
They do make good stuff, and I know everybody, if you're listening to this, you're like, oh, well, they have to say that they're part of Diesel Power Products. I get that, but we also, try and keep it as real as fucking possible with you guys. Yeah. Like Dodge Off-Road makes some great products. Everybody was like head over heels about their steering, and they were like, oh, their steering uses.
Didn't they do a Heim joint? Wasn't it Heim?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
fuck Heim joints.
Yeah,
and for a daily driving truck.
For a daily driver, and that's everybody was. When Synergy came out with theirs, and then Dodge Off-Road had theirs, and they're like, oh, they have Heim joints, they're way stronger, blah blah. Like, you're not wrong. Heim joints have their place. However, and this is after Icon went away from their uniballs on their upper control arms.
Yeah, it went to ball joints because of maintenance. If you're going to put Heim joints on something, maintenance is absolute key. That joint is fully exposed
all the time.
So rain, dust, all that shit is going to be going through those joints. It's going to basically wash out all the grease. It's going to wipe out that joint, and you're going to have to replace it more often. Is that something that you want to do? If you're okay with that, then great, go with that kit. Otherwise, the design of a tie rod versus like a Heim joint isn't really that much worse. It really isn't. I mean, if you think about it,
in this application,
if you keep it greased, if you maintain it, make sure your boots aren't torn up. I mean, with any steering kit, even so, like PPE stuff for Duramax guys, we sell the replacement boots, boot kits for them. Mm-hmm. For Synergy, we sell the replacement boot kits for them. You can get new boots, and that boot is very important because it's holding the grease and it's keeping it out of the elements. So rust, corrosion, any of that stuff does not happen inside that joint. If it was a rig that you maybe like only took off road or something like that, maybe Heim joints are a better option for you. They are strong, and if it's something that you don't drive all the time and you have the ability to go in, before you drive it to, grease it up, maintain it, make sure it's good to go, then fine. That's a great kit for you. Otherwise, most people with their trucks are not going to sit there and look at their steering every time they drive. They're just not. They're just going to expect it to work and drive away and that's just how people are. That's how I am. That's I'm sure how Ben is. That's I'm sure how Corey is. He's not going to look at his fucking steering joints every time he goes for a drive. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's too much, especially for a truck. I mean, people use their trucks for trucks. Whether you're hauling something, whether you're using it as a daily, you just want to get a part on there that is going to last still have, you still have to service things. I'm not saying you don't service anything. People with the rear diff stuff, I'm going to service my rear diff, settle the fuck down. But with steering stuff, that's very important. And anything with a boot is going to be able to maintain that grease in there, maintain lubrication for a longer period of time without you fucking with it.
I agree. And as far as the serviceability goes on those, or I think when people see those are like, oh, all the off-road trucks, all the King of the Hammer trucks, they all have Uniball. They have Uniball everything. Uniball this, Heim joint. And you're not wrong.
They also get rebuilt after every race.
Exactly. So for daily driving, having those exposed joints, even Josh's wife on their F-150 back in the day, they had Icon with Uniballs on there.
Yeah.
And they
start making noise.
Yeah. They live on a dirt road. After one season, like one winter, it was, imagine every bump you hit.
Yeah, they start making noise. They start
sounds
clunking.
like a wagon.
Yeah, it's just again, it's a great idea. It's a super strong design for abuse. But as far as regular driving, not a good idea.
No, do not recommend it.
Yeah.
So there's our piece on Uniballs and Heim joints and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that was also one of the reasons why everybody from Dodge Off-Road, like we would have to kind of explain that about Synergy to them. And they're like, oh. And every once in a while, we would get someone that was coming from a Dodge Off-Road kit to like a Synergy kit or something like that. And if I recall correctly, eventually Dodge Off-Road ended up offering a tie rod
replacement
kit.
Yeah, and that's a cool thing with like those aftermarket kits is they make all those joints replaceable. Which that saves you a ton of money because even with like the Mopar kits, like the bars aren't the part that goes bad. It's the joint. And those are like one piece.
Bucks.
So, they're much more expensive versus like a $45 joint. So yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
All right.
And also you went with Bilstein steering stabilizer. Great option. We heard Tyler's opinion on dual steering stabilizers there. So good job, Seth. And also like good ball joints. But the main thing I want to put out there is the fact that you've done a very good job, you and Corey have, of making something that's going to handle and get your truck better than it is now.
Yeah.
But also really not breaking the bank and also not shooting yourself in the foot. Like you're not going and ordering some, the cheapest part store thing on Rock Auto because they have a steering kit on Amazon that's like $45, but it includes everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a little too good to be true. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like you're probably going to bend it. Like not even kidding.
Yeah.
But good choice. Good parts put together kit, Corey. Nice job. There was one other topic I want to bring up real quick here.
Uh-oh.
Corey.
What?
You've mentioned that you may have a hankering for Mo Powell, baby.
Oh, yeah. I've been toying with the idea.
Yeah.
I've been toying with an idea.
Corey's been toying with an idea.
I want to do my suspension first, though.
Like a Pro Charger? What are we talking here?
You can't
Did
see
I hit
Corey.
the nail on the head? Pro Charger?
Pretty much, yeah. I was thinking like the Whipple kit.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
When's the last time you've seen Corey smile like that?
Yeah.
This is Mitch's fault, goddammit.
To be honest with you, fuck the suspension. Put the Whipple on there. If you want my honest opinion, does it drive right now?
Well,
Does
yeah.
You're fine. Put a Whipple on there. It'll make your drive so much funner.
I want to pause this real quick. This takes me back to episode
when I said the
4.
first thing that I would do would be suspension because it is a very overlooked and blah blah blah. I get it. I understand that. I get it. He's got a GM though. It's like it already probably rides like a Cadillac. What are you trying to do? You got new wheels and tires on it. It looks great. Throw some power at that bitch. Let's hear some little. Fuck yeah. I'm aroused.
Corey, go on. What are you thinking?
I mean, it's just an idea I've been toying with. I went out to the drags with Mitch probably about a month ago or so.
Yeah, you don't want the truck any higher anyways.
Well, I just want it level.
Yeah, fuck that.
There was
Tyler's juiced.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
There's a truck pretty similar to mine. It's got a camper shell. It totally looks like Grandpa truck, but
Yeah.
it's got a nice little supercharger and a little bit of gas. Like a little bit of funny juice.
I like it. I like it.
And the thing moved.
I bet.
It moved.
6 liter, like with a Pro Charger or Supercharger. Like, yeah, that thing's gonna get down.
Yeah, so I just kind of been tossing the idea in my head a little bit.
If the cost of whatever you're looking to do is equal to or within 5 or 10% of the suspension,
it is not.
how far off?
It is almost triple the price.
Wow. Like through Holly?
Well, maybe 2.5, but
Still kind of worth it.
but that's injectors, that's tuning, that's
it's a whole meal deal.
God damn you, Mitch. Yeah, so
I would do it. I'll do that.
Something that I don't have any experience with is gas engines that have been supercharged and towing. I don't know if it's like they have a propensity to build more heat and heat soak. I don't know if any of you like listeners have actually any experience like towing with superchargers. I'd like to hear it. He's not towing heavy.
There's a difference though, because there's superchargers, there's pro chargers.
He's looking at a route like an actual
like
supercharger.
an actual take the intake manifold off,
Yes.
put a supercharger on.
Yeah.
Have you looked up a pro charger kit? It's basically a turbo on your pulley,
yeah, not yet.
and you can put an intercooler on it.
Like I said, I've
you
just
can-
started getting into this.
Intercool supercharger. They have a plate that goes in between there.
Yeah.
Water to air.
Well, that seems like the more expensive option versus like a pro charger.
It might be. I don't know. Again, you're talking to probably one of the most greenest guys when it comes to A, towing, and B, like pro chargers and
I would look at a
superchargers.
pro charger. Just look at a pro charger. I think that'd be freaking dope. I would do it. Do it. Do it. You do that. Ben gets 40s, and I do my rear diff fluid.
Seems like both of you guys come out ahead on this one. I'm just going to blow transmission. Well, fuck, Corey might too. Never mind.
Yeah.
Fair.
Damn, Corey with a supercharged. I think the pro charger would be kind of cool in there, but I do like the idea of a supercharger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of research into it, but
Check out a pro charger. I don't know if they're cheaper or more expensive. I don't know. It seemed to me, I think they're I feel like they're a cheaper option, but I could be wrong. Because the whole swapping out the intake manifold for like a supercharger to me seems like a more expensive way to go, especially if you're trying to like cool the air before it gets in the engine. In between that, also you got to worry about like maybe like hood clearance with that kind of thing. Or you're gonna have to run like a Cal hood. Like what's the deal? What's the deal with that? Because that's gonna change some shit.
High output intercooled supercharger kit.
So that to me is like a pro charger. That's on the belt. So they say supercharger. To me, like a pro charger is on the belt like that, where it's like a turbo that's belt driven. Like to me, like a supercharger, or some people will say like a blower.
So this one they're calling it a pro charger high output.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we're all fucking up here. Pro charger is the brand. It's like how you call it.
Yeah, but it's
like how you call it tissues Kleenex.
Yeah. I mean, there's I think a lot
I was tracking on that. I thought you guys were too. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, pro charger high output intercooled supercharger kit. So it's still considered a supercharger because it's injecting air mechanically, like pressurized.
Yeah.
Not by exhaust gas.
Yeah.
It's taking power off the accessory drive to compress it.
I don't know. I got to freaking pee so bad right now.
I think honestly either one will work for you.
Yeah.
I think do you know what horsepower range it put you in?
I don't.
Like 1,000.
Oh.
No.
Like I said, this is very, very early stages of.
I mean, it's probably like a solid like 550, 600 horsepower. I would say like
probably
overall when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how much you turn it up, but I mean, yeah, I'd say forced induction on that with tuning and injectors and no cam. I mean, it'd probably be solid 475, 500 in my opinion.
I think if that thing's not breaking 500 with one of those, I just worry
about the cam profile. working with that.
Fuck the can.
And, and how hard you want to like Looney Tune it, you know?
for sure.
I'm sure you could ramrod
You
as
still
much
want
as
it
you
like,
want.
you know, obviously like usable, like for towing and whatnot.
Yeah. It's
I'm
still
sure
going to
there's
be a
options
daily,
out there.
you know. But
I
that
mean-
is something I've been considering.
I mean, you would still definitely want a either a giggle juice button or the get fucked button for a tune on there. If you could, you know, you still need a spicy tune. Don't worry, we're gonna make sure you have one.
Yeah. Hell
well,
yeah.
I guess the shop that puts on those races tunes those very well. So
yeah, I found a couple, and just pricing wise, they all look like they're around, and it's an all inclusive kit, so air, water, air, intercooler, stuff
about
like
7
that.
to 8.
7 to 8, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of saving.
That's
Worth
a
it.
lot of money for a little bit extra horsepower.
Yeah.
You sure
it
you don't
is.
want to just put like
Are you sure you just don't want to buy a diesel?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just put a cam and a tune on it. You could probably do a cam and a tune on there for like a third of that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
and have like a very nice
Stout, naturally aspirated.
rockin' 450 out of it.
Look, don't be a voice of fucking reason here.
I don't want to be.
Get out of here,
Ben, stop talking. Tell him to get a Pro Charger.
Wait a minute, didn't you just make a budget-friendly kit for Seth? Like, don't you tell me to fuck off.
It's the yin and yang, you know?
Yeah. Fuck.
I gotta pee. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed our endeavor into talking about some
Steering and Pro Chargers.
Steering and
I
Pro
like it.
Chargers. If you have any experience towing with any sort of forced induction gas engine, please let us know. And that could be turbo, supercharger, Pro Charger, anything. We'd like to hear it, because you're talking about the three greenest guys in here when it comes to gas engines and towing with forced induction. Whew. I feel like we have a lot to learn, but it could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe and check us out at dieselpowerproducts.com.